Why?
Chaos.
Because I told them that I'm going to try to kill them at the end.
Well.
And they need to be prepared because I won't take it easy on them.
That's valid. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, no, that's just like in my campaign. I straight up said, Session 0, FYI, the last fight can and could possibly be a TPK.
You will not be
just letting you know now. There is a good chance you will all die.
I mean, at least you gave him a heads up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Some of you will die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. Some of you may die, but that's a risk I am willing to take.
Oh, I even told them with mine, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to be taking it easy on you guys. So it's quite possible that you could die much sooner, but I won't kill you. I won't try to kill you at least until the BBEG of the first arc.
Yeah, that's the reason I always have like a backup character. His name is Just in Case.
Just in Case.
Yep, and he's a paladin, and all he wants to be is a cop.
Oh, you cop! I'm a cop.
He wants to be a cop real bad.
You a co-op? Not a
narc.
Frickin' narc.
Fucking narc.
Okay, we're Evan and Carly.
They're scarfing down dinner per what they said in the Discord.
Yeah, I don't think they get home until...
Yeah, they don't get home till, like, just before this campaign starts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they get home until, like, 7 o'clock their time, which would
be...
Yeah. So generally, like, they get home and they try to make dinner and eat it as quickly as they can before every single campaign.
Which is partly why it was like, you know what, I'm moving my Thursdays to 6/8. But then I'm like, you know what, if you guys don't want us eating while we're, you know, playing, then, well, that's just too bad.
I mean, I eat snacks the entire
time. Oh, gosh, yeah.
So.
I mean, sometimes Josh and I are eating dinner while we're playing.
I figure at least I'm not on camera and I can mute, so like, cause I have misophonia, so like I absolutely fucking cannot stand listening to other people chew, can't stand listening to myself chew, so I literally just mute myself and will just like take one headphone off so I don't get the like feedback from my microphone, and I'm just like, I'll like still be listening, but I'll be like, yeah, the sound of your voices drowns out my chewing noises.
Oh gosh, yeah, I have no idea what it is, but like over the last few years, like even if somebody's not chewing with their mouth open, it's when I'm sitting next to somebody while they're eating, it's almost like they're chewing with their mouth open.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's misophonia.
Okay.
Does it make you irrationally angry or upset?
It definitely, it's very grating and very irritating and makes me shiver. And I'm like, this should not bother me so much because I know you're not chewing with your mouth open.
No, you have misophonia.
Okay. Which is weird because it's really only developed in the last like 5 years.
No, but that's like a thing that does develop. It's the same way that like like anything will develop. I mean, your brain changes, right? So like when your brain chemistry changes, obviously different things can develop, right?
I'm like, my God, how many problems does my brain have now?
I mean, it's the same thing with like how you can develop certain tastes for certain things and then later in life like completely hate that thing.
Your taste buds change, Exactly. Or you hate something when you're younger and then you love it when you're older,
Exactly, like naps and spankies. I used to hate that shit as a kid. Now I love taking naps.
I love it. I still don't like taking naps.
I fucking love taking like a good nap, bro. Hell yeah, that shit's crisp.
Mostly for me, it's just because I can't just sleep for a half an hour or an hour. Like I can't do that. If I lay down to nap, unless somebody wakes me up, I'm asleep for like 4 or 5 hours at least.
It's wild. I'm not as good as this, but like my grandfather used to be one of those people that like could literally be like, "Okay, I'm going down for a 15-minute nap." Close his eyes, conked out, absolutely dead to the fucking world. 15 minutes later, up, fully refreshed. It's not fair. I want this skill.
It's like, okay, I am very upset with you. Which
like...
I guess apparently if you set aside, I think it's like 90 minutes for a nap, it gives you enough time to actually fall asleep and get at least one cycle of REM sleep, and and then you're able to wake up feeling refreshed.
Yeah.
But you have to do at least 90 minutes because it takes a while for you to fall asleep, and then you have to be asleep for at least 45 minutes before your brain goes into REM sleep.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
I learned that in health class back in high school when they actually taught that in high school health class.
Oh my god, my health class was literally like, don't do drugs or smoke tobacco because it's bad for you. And I was like, can we do sex ed though? And they were like, no, you're not responsible enough to learn about sex. And then 3 girls got pregnant from that class like the next year.
Sure.
Which was unfortunate.
It's like, this is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah. And then like they didn't even do like nutrition or nothing. It was just like, don't do drugs or smoke tobacco because it's bad for you and you'll die.
And I mean, okay, I know there's a lot of things that they stopped teaching in school after, like, for instance, like Josh and I got out of school. But I almost feel like when we were in middle school and high school was almost like a sweet spot for the learning generation.
I feel like, yeah, because there was a lot like I missed out on in school. Like, our health class was part of our PE, and you would think that nutrition would go with PE, right? Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, like that would make sense.
But nope, they didn't give us that. The thing too that killed me the most was like my high school was decked out in like all these facilities, and we like didn't have enough student body to use them. And like we had like a fucking dance studio in our basement that we never used. We had like a canoe room which never got used. Yeah, right? Like, we had so many cool things. We had a fitness room. We did end up using the fitness room, but we also had like a wood shop, and half of the wood shop just was never touched. And like we had like a tech room with like the design tables and stuff, and I think we went in there once in my entire high school career. Like,
wow.
There were 3 abandoned drama studios. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, let's see. When I was in high school, we had basic nutrition in our health class. They obviously taught sex education. Like safe sex and everything. Like they didn't condone sex in high school. Like, they weren't handing out condoms and things like that, but they did at least teach you, like, if you are going to, don't just trust birth control.
Yeah.
Make him suit up.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
suit up, boy.
It seems like now it seems so obvious, but at the time it wasn't. I taught sex ed at my high school as a member of our gay straight alliance. Like, it was ridiculous. But I digress. But to be fair, though,
then, like,
oh,
sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say my high school had a total population of 300 people.
Oh, geez.
In a building meant for 1,500. So, like, you know.
That's interesting that, like, that's the case. Because most of the times they won't expand a school unless they have the need to expand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our school was like, it used to be a lot bigger. Like, it used to have a higher population. I guess, like, whatever in my area, people stopped going to that school because it had a bad reputation and stuff like that. So, you know, but that's because that's where all the people who sold drugs went to school.
Drugs.
So funny. Yeah, one thing that I thought was like really, really good. It was an elective class, but like we actually had a finance class that we had as an elective. And it's like you would learn how to do, fill out an I-9 and a W, and how to read your W-2, how to write a check, how to balance your checkbook.
That would be so helpful.
Evidently, in public schools, that's not even an elective option anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I did something similar. We had, like, regular math and then everyday math is what they called it, but it was really just the math for people who couldn't do regular math. And I ended up taking that course, but they taught us to write checks. They taught us to do a budget. They had us do, like, a fantasy trip where you had, like, a specific budget and you could pick anywhere you wanted to go, but you had to, like, come back with a certain amount of money left in your budget. And then... Sorry.
We had to do, like, we also, and this is one that I'm like, it wasn't I didn't think it was that hugely necessary for everyone, but I'm still glad they did it. And it was like, okay, you own this business. Here's your budget for, this quarter. Here's the things you need and here's the things you want to do. Now you have to write out the specific budget for each of these areas and things like that. So, like, I thought that was a good, like I said, not totally necessary for everybody because not everybody is going to be in business management or own a business or do anything with business financing. But it was still good to have because it still has you starting with that foundation when you do go into the workforce.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It kind of gives you an idea as opposed to just sort of sitting there trying to figure something out on the clock, Yeah.
And then, like, if you do go into business management, you're like, it at least helps you to have a foundation.
Exactly. Yeah. In our class, our final project was to double a recipe so everyone could have some.
Here we go.
Hello!
So sorry that it took us a while.
It's alright.
Oh my gosh, it's light out for you guys. Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so bright out here as well.
Oh my god, you guys are still in the daylight? It's so dark here.
Yeah, the sun finally went down over here too.
It's you and me in the darkness, Leo.
Yeah.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Alright, well, I guess we will go ahead and get started. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the next exciting episode of This Our Blessed Damon Machina. I am your host and DM, Lack the Watcher, and with me tonight are my players. Starting from the very top, we have... starting below me, the camera changed on me. We have Peony, we have Zoe.
Hello.
Next up, we have our Vasira and our Benedict. We have Leah and Josh.
What's good?
And last but not least, we have our Dastin and our Estrid. We have Evan and Carly.
What's good, my dude?
Hi.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I didn't do that correctly. It's my Benny.
It's my Izzy.
There we go.
Only on every other Thursday.
All right.
Nice.
And when we do our P's together, even though we haven't done a Benedict and Estrid scene in a hot minute.
Yeah, you're right.
True, true. True, true.
All right.
Hold on, you want to show everybody your handsome bow tie? Oliver is gonna be 1 on the 18th. Evan, you want to turn on the...
Lies. He cannot be that old yet. Hi.
Hi.
Oh. Hi, buddy.
Very cute.
Heart.
All right.
It's my hair.
So let's go ahead and get started. Does anyone have any announcements they'd like to make before we get going?
Matt Mercer is sexy as Ganondorf.
He's daddy.
Did he officially announce that yet?
No, but it's not subtle. It's,
No, it
it's
sounds
obviously
like
him
him.
in the new trailer of Tears of the Kingdom.
Right. Okay.
Also, Ganon is just hot. Like the new art for Ganon.
Yeah.
There we go.
Stop. Daddy,
I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
Oh,
Daddy,
this
I'm
is-
sorry.
I was like, this is gonna make me like have like some conflicting feelings.
I'm not conflicted at all.
Let me be clear. You are supposed to defeat this man and nothing else.
I have an
Specified.
announcement. I have none.
Wow.
You just defeated the purpose of this.
Well,
Anyway.
if
Camera
you all are
privileges.
willing to spend $70 on a Switch game, anyway. So moving on. Does anyone else have any other announcements?
We bought the D&D dice sets for our tables at our wedding reception.
Nice.
That's so
Oh, nice.
cute.
And our florist is all paid for.
Nice.
Cool. Cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my dress in, but I don't really know if that's an announcement because it posted it quite literally everywhere.
You did. You did.
It's cute.
His cute dress.
Slay.
All right. Any other announcements?
Nope.
All right, then I guess we will go ahead and get started with the next exciting episode of This Our Blessed Daemon Machina, Friends in Need. In our last episode, Estrid was affected by touching Dastin's journal and was unfortunately given a minor curse over the interaction with Diz. As is such, Terry, using his vague memory, guided them to a small town called Cartertown, where they came into the contact of one Mr. Sergio D'Angelo, a reclusive and rather strange young wizard who was the closest thing to a doctor that the town had that could help Estrid. As well as the day went on, he realized he was going to need to help Dastin deal with Diz. So now we will go ahead and begin the next episode. And so, Peony,
Yeah.
you find yourself waking up rather groggy, a little sore from the experience that you had in the previous episode of one of your experiments trying to help Estrid going very, very wrong. So, it is the morning, and you kind of just wake up slowly.
Okay. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh boy. I would like to take stock of my own body and make sure that see if I have any wounds or anything. Did I take damage?
You are down one eyebrow.
Yeah, pretty
Oh
much.
shit.
You are a bit bandaged up, but nothing too serious at the moment.
Okay. So my HP hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
I'm not gonna make you do a medicine check because it's yourself. So.
Heal. I feel my face and I'm like, oh, not again. As I, feel
Oh no, not again!
Again. Sorry, Leah.
It took so long to grow back last time. Shit. And I would like to do a perception check because I don't know where I am.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. It's not going to be that tough of a one, but...
Is anyone else, like, in the room with me?
Roll a perception check and find out.
Okay, that's a 14.
All right. You look around, and it's a pretty quiet, empty room. Just a couple of, like, bookshelves. It's definitely a guest room, from what you can tell. It's not super well kept. It's not, like, dirty or anything. But you do happen to notice someone sitting in a chair, a long white-haired young man who is currently reading a book.
Okay. Has he noticed me yet, like waking up?
I turned.
Not quite yet.
Okay. I don't know this person, and so I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself. And I'm gonna try to go find the party.
As you do that, you see the figure lower the book and say, "I suppose that means you're awake then, huh?"
I dropped my invisibility. You got me. Now, who are you? Where am I?
Sorry, I wasn't sure how to introduce myself properly. My name is Sergio D'Angelo. I'm something of a alchemist. I don't really know what I quantify myself as, but your friends, your party, came here to seek help for Miss Estrid in her current predicament.
Super duper quick. In light of the conversation we had during announcements, or I guess the tiny bit of announcements that we had, Matt Mercer did just confirm that he does in fact voice scan it.
Okay, I didn't know if they were gonna wait to do that until like the day of the game came out.
Please continue.
He got the go ahead like a minute ago.
Okay.
I'm gonna like think back and like I guess just out of character real quick. In the last session, would I have like been able to diagnose what happened to Estrid, and it was just like my experiment that blew up, or was it just like I'm just gonna throw healing at you?
Yeah, you just tried to do whatever you could because you were in such a panic, and it just completely failed. So
cool, excellent. I want to squint at Sergio and just be like, and what was going on with that?
Unfortunately, it appears that there was some sort of, I suppose, what's the best way to describe it? Feedback from Diz's presence in the journal.
Yeah, that does track. That makes sense. I'm gonna look at him, and while I ask, I would like to actually no. Where's the rest of my party now? Why are we alone in this room together, young man?
Oh shit.
I'm sorry. That probably was a bit strange. I was just making sure you were the last one to wake up, so I figured you would probably need the most attention. But the rest of your party is downstairs, currently in one of the other guest rooms with Miss Estrid, who is lying down.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna sort of like get up and like flutter towards whatever door there is. Is it open or closed?
It's closed, but it's not locked. So
okay.
If you want, I can take you there.
It's gonna be like, I can take myself, and then look at the closed door and be like, shit.
And then Sergio just slowly kind of opens the door for Peony.
That's so cute.
And she nods at him, sort of in thanks, but is still like keeping a little eye on him because she's like, you were watching me sleep, and that's weird. But she's gonna like gesture for him to lead the way.
Sergio takes you down to one of the other bedrooms. As you pass by, you begin to notice that this doesn't really look like a conventional house. Sergio sort of explains, you're probably a bit confused about where I'm living. This isn't an actual house. It's actually a former university that was abandoned, and I sort of fixed up as a place to continue my research and live.
A university, you say?
Yeah.
Any chance there was a library in here?
You all seem to really be interested in the library. Well, there is one upstairs, but I think you would rather see Estrid right now, if I'm not mistaken.
You are right. I definitely want to see this library later. The pursuit of knowledge is one that I am particularly interested in.
You and me both.
And she's gonna sort of like give him like an approving look. But I'm still gonna keep an eye on him for now, because like
You and I aren't so
I
different.
I got one eye open.
You and I aren't so different, Mr. Bond. Anyway, he takes you into the room, and this is where the rest of the party is. I'm just gonna railroad everybody and say that you've all been staying by the bed that Estrid is in. So, if you don't mind.
Even Dastin?
I mean, would Dastin be there, or would he be somewhere else?
No, I think Dastin would be there.
Okay.
I mean, last session we left with like I think Benedict sitting next to Dastin while holding Estrid's hand.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Okay. Visira, if you're cool with being there too, I mean, you don't have to, but...
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, cool. So you all are there. So, at this point, I would say Estrid is doing a lot better. Like, it's just kind of... She's just kind of got, like, a cool sweat going right now, but nothing really that seems fatal. So, Sergio guides Peony into the room, and he says, well, someone else appears to have woken up.
Hey guys, what the hell? Leaving me alone in a stranger's place? Not cool.
Sergio's cool. You're fine.
I squint at him. Are you sure about that? Are you
Yep.
really sure?
Yeah, I mean he's helped out Estrid. Look, and Benedict is holding Estrid's hand, and kisses it. And you know he's happier now. He's not as worried as he was the day before.
Benny, I'm fine. I've had worse hangovers than that.
I'm still gonna make sure you're okay.
I know.
Terry in the corner is just like, I remember when I could have hangovers.
Yeah, how is that? Is that like really convenient
Is what convenient?
to not have hangovers? You could just drink and drink and drink.
I
all you
can't
want.
drink. I'm a skull.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe
trying
she's
to be optimistic and.
maybe she's not as healed as we thought.
Sergio walks over to Estrid and says, "Are you sure you're feeling all right?"
I'm a little woozy, but I've been worse.
No, that's good to hear.
I'm not quite sure what you did, but I feel like I went through a good cleanse.
That should be about right. From what I gathered, what you had was something... Well, I won't get too deep into it, but I described it to Miss Peony as feedback, as it were. The thing that gave you the illness that you suffered from, it didn't quite possess you, but it sort of touched you.
Ah, ew. All right. Well.
Unfortunately, there was no better way to put that.
Well, thank you.
You're quite welcome. What I did was a rather old spell. One of the things I've learned from my learnings. I like studying the old magics.
What? How did you describe it?
It was like this spider thing. Like, well, not really a spider, but it had this mechanical like talons on it that like sent all the black stuff into an orb.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I dreamed I was kissed by a crab. It's really weird.
Is that what happens when I use that? You were the first person I ever did that spell on, actually. So.
It's interesting, but probably not something I'd want to do again.
I wouldn't recommend it, no. Well, you are all free to stay for as long as you like. I know you've had a pretty hard journey. As I said before, just respect my privacy, but the library and the kitchen and such and the lounge are free for you to use.
Without saying another word to anyone, he gives just one look to Estrid, and then Dastin just beeline straight for the library, out of the room, away from everyone.
Him sad boy.
He seems in a hurry.
Yeah. I think he's upset about what happened.
I can imagine so. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my research. Thank you, everyone. Miss Estrid, I hope you continue to heal up well. Goodbye. And he just exits the room.
She gives him like a salute.
He awkwardly salutes back.
Love that.
Can I roll insight on this man as he's like just in his general like demeanor, just for flavor?
What are you trying to find out?
I just want to see if he's like genuinely awkward or if he's hiding something.
Okay, go ahead and try to roll.
It's a 7.
Maybe, but you can't tell. I mean, it's he seems pretty genuine.
Okay,
So.
as he's turning around though, like just like behind his back so he can't see, I like do the eye pointing thing. Like, I'm watching you.
You see him kind of get a little awkward and flustered and just kind of walk away. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, now that I've seen everyone is cool and like awake and alive, I'm also I think I'm gonna follow Dastin up to the library, his books.
Okay. Benedict, I'm assuming you're staying by Estrid?
Yes.
Vasira,
He's not leaving her until she's 100% better.
right. Vasira, what are you doing?
You know, I think Vasira is still a bit curious about, like, Sergio had mentioned something about a guardian of the abyss in the last session, and she's still a little bit curious about that. To like, see if she can find anything out with that.
Okay. So are you going to the library too?
Yes, she will follow to the library.
Okay.
It's research time.
All right. So I guess before we get to the library, why don't we let Benedict and Estrid have a scene, and then we'll move on. So.
No. Okay.
Oh. Ladies first.
I'm gonna say, like, it was just really weird. Like, I've never had that happen from a book. But yeah, then again, we've never had a book that had like a literal demon in it, right?
Benedict's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I saw what he pulled out of you, and it just, he kind of looks back towards the door where Dastin left and just goes, I don't know if this wizard here, if he could actually get, this out of that book, and or even sever that connection between this and Dastin. If he can't do it, we're gonna need to find a way to get a higher power to help Dastin out.
Yeah. What did it look like? Whatever he pulled out of me.
Out of character here. It was black swirly stuff, right, Liam? Basically, black swirly stuff.
Yeah, it came out like an orb. I'm trying to think what inspired that idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you have seen like Pokemon the first movie. It's like what Mewtwo creates when he creates his dark orbs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gotcha. Yeah. Benji just goes, yeah, it was like it's like a black orb of just dark, unsettling energy. And you know, if you just had that amount within you, just for that one slight, connection that you had with the book, I can't imagine how much of that could potentially be within Daston.
Yeah. What would happen if I'm sorry, Liam, what is this character's name? Whose house we're in?
Sergio.
Yeah,
Thank
Sergio.
Sergio, who is Santa Claus, I have deemed.
What do you think would happen if he tried to do the same thing that he did to me to Daston? Would it be like an exorcism type thing, or would it be just like quick and painless? Dude.
Benedict just kind of just sitting there. He's just, he just kind of thinks on it for a minute and just goes, for just my own knowledge of the arcane and for what I saw Sergio do to you, I would imagine that it would probably have to be some sort of intense, bless you, some sort of intense exorcism, because it seemed a little intense with you, but you didn't have that much interaction with the book.
Yeah.
But Daston's had it on him for years, so it must be deeply ingrained within him spiritually and magically, and I can't imagine it be an easy go if Sergio's able to do it at all.
Well, nobody deserves that, so I guess we're gonna have to figure it out. But in the meantime, have you been to this library of this house?
He just looks at her and then kisses the back of her hand, and then with his free hands, like, moves some hair out of her face and goes, I haven't left your side as much except to just get Daston and them back. But that's only at Sergio's request. Other than that, I have not left your side, my love.
That's yeah, that sounds accurate. Well,
I'll buy that.
Seems legit.
Seems legit.
I love you for that, but I'm curious to see if he has any like cool books that we could borrow.
Ben just goes, well, we'll see how well you can walk, and if you are able to walk well, I will, we'll definitely go there. But if you really want to go, even if you can't walk well, I will gladly carry you to the library.
I don't know. I mean, he helps me a lot. I think it'd be kind of rude if I did that without even asking.
All right, well, then let's just stay here and make sure that you rest up well.
All right. Well, Benedict, thank you for staying by my side, and I love you.
I love you too. And he just sits there quietly, just continuing to hold her hand.
All right, so we will move on to the library now.
The library.
All right, so we've got Peony, Daston, and Viscera all in the library. So it's a decent sized library. Not as big as the one that Madame Greyberry offered, but it's a good size. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to look for. All right, so Viscera, you wanted to look for stuff on the Guardian of the Abyss.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Perception. Of course. 11.
Okay. We will get back to you in a second. Okay. Dastin, what are you looking for?
Since Dastin already got a head start heading to the library, by the time everyone else arrives, he's already grabbed a couple books that just seemed like moderately interesting to him, and he's just kind of found a quiet corner between some bookshelves, and he's just sitting on the floor reading.
Okay, fair enough. We will get back to you in a second. All right.
That's fine.
Peony, what are you looking for?
I want to look for any books that would pertain to particular like artificery, but like particularly like anything that has to do with like mixing a live creature with like mechanical parts, or anything that would be like imbuing some kind of biological magic into some level of mechanics.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Trying to find if she can make the Daemon Machina.
That's a 13.
All right. So, since Dastin was the first one here, we're going to have him go first. The books you find are mostly history books right now.
All right. I can definitely get into this.
It's a lot of the history of Cernor, and a lot of the history of like the End War and kind of what led up to it and where it all sort of culminated to. It was basically, it was essentially a war between Cernor and another country over land and like property and goods and such, the usual stuff.
Right.
Cernor was the much more profitable country. It was much more of a bigger country than the one it was at war with. Essentially, how the war went was, we'll say the name of the other country was Trostberg. Trostberg was sort of looking for kind of a means to be able to get more like it was looking for more like inventory and items, that because it was kind of a suffering country as against Cernor, which was kind of thriving at the time. But Trostberg also had a lot of allies and was able to build up a pretty good army to the point of where Cernor was becoming a bit scared, and they began looking outwards for more mercenary help and stuff like that, and they even started to bring in like other races outside of elves and humans. It was a very isolationist society for a very long time, but because of the fact that they were starting to get desperate, they started to bring in like orcs and fairies and other creatures like that. So,
and despite like recent events and obviously what's happening to him, while Dastin is sitting on the floor reading all of this, he's still got the giant tome just open to his next available page, and he's just writing down notes with his other hand.
Right. Yep. And as that went on, it sort of got to the point where Futurum, where, you know, Marcus Kilgrave took over and all that stuff, and where you found the first Daemon Machina, that became less so a place of research and trying to build to a better future, as much as it became a war think tank of a state, basically. And you actually do find some writing about the lady, and you also see that Layla Greyberry was mentioned at one point as well. So,
yeah, Dastin's just reading and writing down notes.
Yep. All right, we will come back to you in a second. So, Visera.
Yes.
You only find one book that's really filling your interest. And it is actually kind of interesting because it's sort of by itself. There seems to be a hole in like the wall of like books, and there's only one there right now that actually has anything on the Guardian of the Abyss. So do you take it?
Yeah, Aspen definitely. Oh.
Get out of my way!
Fuck you.
My book. But okay, so Vasira, do you take it?
Yes.
All right. I assume you start reading it.
Yes, indeed, I do.
Okay. Well, you begin to understand that this is all kind of hearsay. That what you're reading is essentially mythology and religion. And you do come to find that the Guardian of the Abyss also has another name. One of the names that the Guardian of the Abyss is called is Umbris Cherog. And it is believed that Umbris Cherog, or the Guardian, is the guardian of the in-between worlds. The shadow that is created outside of worlds, outside of heaven and earth and anything in between. And it is believed that Umbris Cherog is also the keeper of the creatures created by darkness. And some have come to call them the Curse. Anything else you want to know?
I'm gonna keep that in mind. Thinking about the how the creatures reacted to death previously. I'm taking notes myself.
All right. You all right?
Yeah, I'm so good. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Like, my allergies are trying to kill me. It's fine.
Oh my god, that was me last week Sunday.
All
I
right.
only got allergy pills. Hopefully I'll be better.
Well, yeah, I hope so. All right, Peony.
Yes.
You wanted to look up stuff for like sort of mixing flesh and technology, right?
Flesh, but some kind of biological element with machinery in a sense where like the biological element won't die.
Okay. What did you roll again? I'm sorry.
A 13.
A 13. Okay. So you do find a couple books about that. But all of them basically say this is an incredibly taboo thing to do.
Damn it.
It is extremely illegal to do what is essentially called necrosplicing.
Necrosplicing? That's the coolest word I have ever heard.
That's like fucking terrifying.
I say that out loud as I'm reading the book, like visibly vibrating, as I'm like, holy shit!
I like to think that everybody else in the library is quiet, but then all of a sudden Peony just goes, necrosplicing? And she like screams.
I'm so fucking turned on. Sorry. All right. So yeah, that is essentially it. It is an incredibly taboo concept that was discovered centuries ago. And it was essentially years ago when they were first starting to understand how to build weaponry and such, as society was starting to understand how to like create more technologically advanced weaponry. Scientists started to research the idea of like creating technologically advanced monsters for essentially battle. And it was discovered that they shouldn't have done that because it made the monsters essentially wild and like crazy, and some even started to experiment on actual humans that had died. So, and
hence the necro.
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Essentially, the idea is to use more sort of like shadow or darkness energy as a power source to power weaponry.
shadow, you say, looks at Visera. No. But, well.
And oftentimes, dead creatures or necrotic creatures are usually the ones that are best suited for that sort of thing. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, what else do you guys do?
I'm gonna take some time to like fuck around with Terry's body, with like whatever components I have. Can I like do a quick like flit around this place and see if there are any like interesting scraps I can put in my pockets?
Sure. I think I'm gonna make that an investigation check.
Okay, like components and stuff for like building
Yeah.
the body. Okay, investigation. That's gonna be 18.
Okay. You see a few scraps here and there, some nuts and bolts that were left around. You see a few laboratory pieces of equipment that are very old, seemingly not ever used. But that's pretty much it. It's mostly just bits and bobs that couldn't really build something, but could be used to help build something.
Okay, I would like to take a closer look at the old lab equipment just to see if any of it would help me in building the body I've now, like, got a design for.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Oh!
What?
I rolled a natural 20.
Okay, it's a pretty standard chemistry set. It definitely looks like something that would be used in a school, because you are at an abandoned school. Unfortunately, the beakers are kind of cracked, and it's not in the best of shape. It doesn't seem to be well kept. It doesn't seem like Sergio had much interest in this particular set, so he didn't really focus on it too much. But with a little TLC, you might be able to fix it up. So.
Okay, yeah. I guess I will spend some time just like tinkering with it. To,
okay.
Like, clean it up a bit.
All right. Okay, so Visera, what are you up to?
So, I mean, a lot of it's just that Visera is taking notes on what she's already reading. However, she has probably started also looking to see what other, like, maybe demonic beings there may be that could also explain, like, just in case, like, the creature that's inhabiting Daston isn't actually a deity and maybe just like some like chaos demon or something like that. Like, you know, obviously not meta knowledging here, but like she wants to know if there's possibly any kind of trickery that there might be going on here, just so that they can be as prepared as possible.
You know, to be fair, I shouldn't have had both Daston and Dis have names that start with basically the same first syllable.
It's a disaster.
Disaster.
It's a total disaster. All right. Okay, that's fine. I'll make you do another perception check.
Okay.
You might just have to give your DM a minute to figure out what he's going to do here. So.
Okay. I will allow it. That is a 21.
Okay.
If you would like, you can hold off on this one and then move over while you're thinking of stuff to say.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't we see what Daston is up to, and then we'll come back to you in a minute. So.
I'm here.
Yeah. So what are you up to?
Daston is still reading, and honestly, the only reason why he's kind of tucking himself away and writing down notes, the notes that he's writing in are honestly just straight up copy pasting out of a book. He's typically, when he used to do research like this, he would devote himself fully to the research. But right now he's really doing this, and I do apologize, DM and everyone in the game, if this makes it hard to interact with Daston. But because of everything that Dis has done, Dastin doesn't really want to trouble anyone right now.
Hmm.
Like, I do apologize if that makes it difficult. I just know that that's what Dastin as a character would be doing right now.
No, that's fair. But yeah, it's going to be kind of hard to do RPs with him and build up that character connection. But, you're staying true to the character, and that makes sense.
I know. And I'm just... This is just, I know where he would go here. Now, that being said, though, if someone were to, like, walk up to him, he's not going to run away. He's in a corner right now.
Okay.
So if you try to find him, he can't run.
Gotcha. All right. So I think I have an idea of what we're going to do for Viscera. So you are essentially looking for anything that might be familiar to what's going on with Dastin and Dis right now, right, Viscera?
Yes.
Okay. You find a few, like, books on certain aspects that might be considered similar to Dastin. You have read about certain parasitic kind of creatures that hide away in objects and sort of use their certain and use certain aspects to, like, pseudo possess other people, like a sort of ride along concept, and it does seem sort of similar to what Dastin is experiencing. The only difference is that these creatures tend to be more like troublemakers than out and out actually evil.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I will keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, she's probably, she's just taking more notes, like, just so that they can have them at the ready. But at this point, she's probably going to check in on Peony first and see what on earth Peony is doing, because she is a little concerned with Peony.
All right. Peony, you're just still looking at the chemistry set.
Yeah, I see Viscera coming, and I'm like, oh, good, come here.
Yeah, Viscera goes and joins her and just kind of like, what? So you find anything interesting there, Peony?
Oh yeah, this chemistry set is basically brand new, but it just needs like, it's old though, but like it hasn't really been used. And she just starts handing you things to hold while she like continues to work. She's like, "It's good you're here. I needed extra hand space." and is explaining the ins and out of this old, like, cool old chemistry set to you. She's like, and from what I understand, this burner doesn't even need magic to be turned on. It's incredible. You just have to add the right kind of fuel, which I think I can do. I just need a pork rind so I can make some grease. And she looks at you and is like, "You got a pork rind?"
No.
And she's just like, "Oh well," and like goes back to like tinkering with this like chemistry. She's like fully engulfed in like, she's kind of in like shop mode a little bit. But yeah, she's fully like engrossed in this thing, and she's like, "And then once it's done, I could potentially use this to solder certain components together for Terry's body." She has been info dumping at you for like at least 7 minutes without giving you
I
a
love that so
over
much.
her.
Without taking a breath or anything.
Yeah, she like, it feels as though every time she goes to breathe and you try to say something, she starts up again.
She does that thing like in Jim Carrey Ace Ventura, where she just takes in a huge long breath and then just starts rapid fire talking all in a single breath.
Oh, absolutely. And she's like handing and taking tools from you the whole time. And like, it's so surprising how loud someone so small can be.
Vasera just kind of looks at Peony and finally goes, "If you don't stop talking, I'm dropping all of these pieces."
And Peony looks up and like pulls her goggles off and is like, "Why would you do that?"
Because you need to stop.
I came out of the ocean because you need to stop.
She's like, "What do you mean I need to stop? I need to get this working so I can work on Terry's body. Don't you want Terry to have a body?"
Yes. But you need to slow down because you just woke up. We have no idea what actually happened to you other than feedback. If there was anything that, could have actually been, detrimental to your overall health. So it would probably be a better idea to take it a little bit more slowly. Maybe ask Sergio if we could take this with us. Because even if you are able to do something with the pieces that you get here or get this machine working, doesn't mean that you're not going to need to work on it longer anyways.
Oh, I'm taking them with me.
All right, and Vasera just puts the pieces from her arms onto the table and then goes, "I have to find Dafton."
Peony's like, "I'll come with you."
It doesn't take you too very long to find Daston, so.
Yeah, Daston has not noticed the two of you approach yet. He's set down one book and he's picked up another. This book is a little bit bigger than his head. So when you see him, he's sitting on the floor back up against a wall, and the way he's holding this book, his head is like completely obscured.
Peony floats sort of like mid distance from him and just starts T-posing.
All right.
Liam's like, I've allowed many things, I might as well allow this.
Yeah. I can't really stop this, so it's fine.
And she looks over at her shoulder and like sort of like makes it, "Come on, you do it too" motion at Vasera.
Vasera actually just walks over, puts a finger on the book, and just kind of lightly taps it.
Guten Tag, Herr Jones.
There's nothing you cannot possess which I cannot take away.
All of a sudden, Vasera gets thrown out the window. No ticket.
No ticket. All right.
Okay. Anywho, so yeah, she taps the book, and Daston just kind of like blinks out of his like focus and looks up at the two ladies and just goes, "Oh, hey guys.
Oh,
Is something going on?"
sensitive boy.
We're just checking on you, seeing how you're doing."
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm just reading. That's all.
Peony T-poses a little bit closer.
What is she, Miss Peony? What are you doing?
"I'm trying to get you to smile, sad boy.
How? What is this?
You've never seen the almighty T before? This will not do." And she's gonna like fly down and like grab one of his fingers and like try to pull him up to teach him how to T-pose.
All right.
How strong is a fairy with her wings? Are they
Not fucking very.
Yeah.
okay?
I have a -1 strength modifier.
If it were up to me, I would still let you roll a strength check because you never know, but I will leave it up to the DM.
I do not know where T-posing would have become a thing in this universe, but that's fine. So,
I think that we need to make it like an actual thing where it's like if you T-pose, we have to roll a Constitution save.
Sure, why not?
I didn't think Liam was gonna agree to that.
We're committing to the bit.
Okay, so I have to roll
Thank you,
Constitution save. So
merciful DM.
I'm trying my best to yes and here. You guys aren't making it easy, but I'm trying my best.
I was
Okay.
really, it was a joke.
okay, here we go. Constitution Constitution save throw. Here we go.
What's the DC?
Well, I rolled a nat 20. And I have a plus
so
1 for
yeah, that's
21.
gonna be the DC for you.
So you
What
don't
a-
T-pose?
Persuasion?
I guess it would be persuasion, yeah.
Okay. Persuasion. Oh, I have nothing in that. Holy shit. That's what I get for having a +0 charisma. Yeah, that's a 6.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Daphne just kind of looks between Visera and Peony confused, and he just kind of gives Visera a look that says, like, do you know what this is?
Let's be honest, this wasn't a very good plan in the first place, so, you know.
But Sarah's just like, it's a peony thing. Just don't ask questions you won't want the answer to.
It's a fairy thing.
It's a fairy thing.
That's
It's a
racist.
chaotic fairy thing.
I'm the DM, I decide when things are racist or not.
Is it because I'm Fae?
I mean,
But yeah,
I have
see-
Fae ancestry as well, so if it's
I
because
mean-
you're a Fae, then I would be that too.
fair enough. Well, then why aren't you T-posing with me?
Because that's
Anyway.
Drows are elves, right?
Yes.
They're like a subspecies of elves, like an
Okay.
offshoot.
Alright.
They're like elves is a more broad term. Then there's aquatic elves. There's the drow. Then there's the eldarin, and there's the wood elves, and they're all like cousins of each other.
Yeah, okay.
I give up after a minute of not being successful at getting Destin to T-pose with me.
Dastin. Oh, sorry.
No, you go on. It's fine.
Dastin, despite looking clearly confused, does smile because he at least appreciates the effort that Peony put in this. And he does close the book and he does stand up.
Oh, there he is, and I pap him on the nose.
He just kind of withdraws a bit shyly. He's not used to that. He's still very, very, very guilty over what happened.
As that's happening, you hear footsteps coming up to the library and the door open, and you see that it is Sergio, like, who's coming in sheepishly. He's kind of like, I hope you're all finding exactly what you need.
Ah, yes. I believe that I found what I need.
I'm gonna fly up into his face and be like, I'm taking the chemistry set. You clearly don't use it.
Sergio has a little trouble looking you in the eye, but he's just like, I suppose that's fine. I kind of forgot there was one up here.
Exactly, I'm taking it. And I'm gonna put it in my inventory.
You can't stop me.
That's right, you have a bag of holding, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
I also still actually I'm like, okay, hold out your hand.
To Sergio?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Sergio holds out his hand, very confused.
And I pull out the burnt finger from a couple of sessions ago out of my pocket, and I put it in his hand, and I curl his fingers over it, and I say, in exchange.
The fuck?
Alright.
Are you seriously? Okay.
I have a few questions, Miss Faye. But for one thing, what is this? Why is this here? Why is it in my hand?
Payment. I
burnt-
never take anything without giving something in return. It is of equal value, I promise.
Could you at least sell me on it first?
That is a prime burnt finger right there. I'm sure you could find some level of magical componentry to it that you can add to some spell. You're an experimenter, a
Oh my
follower of the learning arts, are you not?
Yes.
Then I expect you to be as imaginative as you can with the gift, the boon I have thusly put upon your hand and given you out of the goodness of my heart. She's fully pulling all of the chemistry shit into her pockets as she's giving this stupid bullshit speech.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm so bad at persuasion. Can I make an intimidation check instead?
No!
You know what kind of sucks that I'm not there because Estrid would totally be all for this and she would help you.
I rolled a 14.
Okay, he's kind of being sold on this, but he's like, may I at least ask whose finger this is?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I didn't even remember you had this. What the hell is going on?
It's in my
Make it up.
inventory.
Make it up.
No, it was from early. It was from early on. Hold up. I could find it.
It's a burnt
No, this
finger.
It was when we were in Futurum.
Okay. Was it one of the thugs?
Yeah, it might have been one of the thugs. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Alright, well, I guess you're not lying, so I can't be mad at that.
I think it may have actually been one of the villagers who we were trying to investigate what happened to him, and you just took a finger from
That's
him.
right. No, it was. It was one of the dead villagers that were looking at the corpse. And she's like, I want his finger. And we're all like, okay.
No, I do remember that. I didn't think he had
I'm
a name.
vaguely remembering that now, but
We're all like, what the F? Okay.
It came in handy, did it not?
handy. Ha 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 ha.
Ah.
Alright, I'm gonna pretend like Vasira said all that. So
Oh no!
and
Well, that just makes me seem evil.
oh, we wouldn't want that, would we?
You said it.
Yeah. So Sergio is sort of like, you found this on one of the dead villagers.
Don't worry about it. I didn't know his name.
Because that makes it better. Sergio's sort of like,
So wrong.
why were you investigating dead villagers?
Oh God.
Anybody else want to take this one, or?
Daston steps forward. When we all first arrived, and we all started going about our way on this journey, the first stop that we made was, what was the name of the first city that Kilgrave was in?
Future.
Our first stop was a city called Futurum that was being controlled by a very grumpy man.
Marcus Kilgrave, yes, I know, I've been there.
Yeah, that's where we got the finger. Quite a lot of nasty things happened there.
Oh, so you met the child. Okay.
Actually, I never did. I only met his thugs.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So, what were you looking for in Futurum? Because I know what I was looking for.
We were looking for clues regarding, well, that journey's kind of over now, but back then we were looking for clues for someone called the Lady.
The Lady. Yeah, so was I.
Oh shit.
Wow.
When I was
And
originally...
you just see Benedict and Estrid at the entrance to the
Yeah.
library.
You know, like they're in the doorway and you hear Estrid who's being carried by Benedict go, oh shit.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Suddenly a whole bunch of Owen Wilsons
Yeah.
walked
Oh,
Um,
all right.
That's Matthew
Oh,
McConaughey.
yes.
And one Matthew McConaughey.
Um,
Start
yeah. Daston just kind of shuffles his feet going, well, up until recently when we were originally looking for the lady, I was hoping to convince her to take me on as an apprentice. Of course, that was before I knew what she did.
What do you mean?
Are you familiar with the town that we just came from a few days ago called Lintown and what was going on there?
And you see him start to look a little confused. I had heard some rumblings that Lintown was a bit of a strange spot, that people tend to go in but don't come out, but I was always under the impression that it was simply because it was such a fun place to live. People always talk about how it's sort of the frivolity capital of Cernor.
You're not that far off, honestly. It was being controlled by a figure named Madame Greyberry, and
Layla Greyberry.
Yes, her, the same.
One of the researchers who worked with the lady.
She was the lady.
And you see him look really confused. That's not possible.
What do you mean?
And you see him start to go over to the wall, and he starts looking through books. And he's like, this should be it. Wait, where are the rest of the history books?
Oh, sorry, I have them right here. And Dastin, quickly gathers up the pile of books that he grabbed and he hands them to Sergio.
Okay, and you see Sergio flip through them, and he goes, right here. She was part of the group that the lady, that the lady, I'm trying to think of the word, that the lady, employed to help her build weapons and such.
I mean, weapons were indeed made. It was these massive abomination devices called Daemon Machina.
And you see him really get freaked out.
Wait, what'd I say?
You found the Daemon Machina.
We found
Uh-oh.
two.
For all the good it did us.
The Daemon Machina is not supposed to be real.
Oh, I guarantee they are.
Wait. You said Layla Greyberry was in Lintown.
Well, she was in Lintown. She... well... She honestly tried to convince us to join the party. And for
She
me
tried to convince you to join.
Yeah, she... I don't like being in the spotlight like this. She...
Too bad.
She wanted me to join, this organization that she was involved in. Liam, what was it called again? The Order of, the White Hand or something?
No. The Immaculate Corpse.
Yeah, okay. She wanted me to join her organization, something called the Immaculate Corpse.
And he's just flabbergasted. He's just like, all right, that's... Do you know any other members of the Immaculate Corpse?
Fortunately, no. All I know is that they seem to be in possession of some kind of entity, or rather, its fragments.
The Guardian of the Abyss.
Yes, that's it. And when she wanted me to join, she offered me the mind of this Guardian. Honestly, wanting to offer me, all the knowledge in the world.
Could you all come down to my study? I have some things I need to show you.
Dastin quickly gathers up his giant journal and comes with Sergio.
We should get Astrid and Benedict. Well, that's a great idea, Peony. Thanks.
On our way down to the study, do we pass by the room? Can I pop in and be give them
yeah.
a real quick update as to what the fuck just went down?
Yeah, sure.
Hey guys, so you need to come with us for a minute, and also here's the rundown.
Huh? Yes. Here. Let me help you out, Astrid.
Here's the Sparks notes.
Oh, Sparks notes.
Yeah,
Basira actually grabs the book she was reading earlier about the Guardian of the Abyss just to bring it with.
yeah, they keep me afloat in high school. Spark notes. But anyway.
So you all make it into Sergio's study, and he's basically like, "I'm afraid I don't have much seating, so some of you may have to stand."
That's fine. And Dastin just pops a squat on the floor.
Crisscross applesauce.
Basira stands.
I
towards back.
sit on the nearest shoulder.
I think that would be Dastin.
Yeah, so I just sit on his shoulder.
So, you all, I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking to so many people at once, but all right, you all found the lady's laboratory.
Well, I don't know if
Yeah.
we call it the lady's laboratory because she said that she was a lady, but it wasn't really a laboratory to speak. It was more like a basement.
All right. And you talked about this Immaculate Corpse group. And one of these members was Layla Grayberry.
That is correct. And when we all resisted her, she gave us the option to leave, but then Lintown would have stayed in its debaucherous state, and that wasn't going to be fair to the populace, so we confronted her, and we actually battled with her.
Oh, she super tried to kill us.
She did.
Sergio's just trying to take this all in. In that case, I might be able to help you. So you destroyed this Daemon Machina, these Daemon Machinas.
2 of them so far.
Yes.
I might know where the rest of them are.
You do?
Nani?
Peony, leave the room quickly.
Peony's eyes sparkling, and she like gets a hold of like a fistful of Dastin's shirt so that she can't be removed. She's like, "Fuck you!"
And Dastin is like, skin.
And Astra's like, Peony, if we keep you in this room, do you promise to not touch the demon machina?
I can make no such promises, but I do promise not to use my knowledge for evil on purpose.
Oh,
I will take that. I will take that. That's the bet.
I think I can take that.
Wait. Astrid and Benedict look at each other and do like a yeah. All right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good enough for us. Yeah.
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 Define evil.
Evil.
You define it.
Well, so, yes. I should be able to help you all, but I need to know, yes, exactly what are you doing with these Daemon Machina?
Trying to destroy them, or at least take them out of commission.
Petey is like distinctly not making eye contact with anybody.
I'm not sure if it would be appropriate to say that we've actually destroyed them, but at least from our perspectives, we have been able to, I guess for lack of a better phrase, shut them down.
He goes to his desk, and he rifles through some papers, and he holds up a big stack of papers and says, "These are notes that I found of the ladies."
Dastin stands right up.
And with them, she talks about certain people who were a part of her sort of group that helped her build certain things. None of them speak of the actual Daemon Machina, but if I were to hazard a guess, considering Layla Grayberry is spoken of in these notes, I would assume the rest of the people on here perhaps are part of that group.
Is
flies
there-
up and grabby hands.
Viscera looks at him and goes, "Is there anyone by the name, I think it was Lara?"
There's no one spoken of Lara. No Lara I've seen.
Right. She just kind of makes a mental note because she was like, okay, then why was, Lara in future? I'm like using the Daemon Machina.
For evil.
Evil.
All right. Well, I suppose what I can do is at least give you a few names here. At least there's at least 2 that you might be able to have. One of them is Harrison Grandcross, and the other is Phileas Theoby.
You want to spell that last one?
It's PHILLIUSTHEOBEE.
And Liam just thought of that on the spot.
Kind of. Yeah.
And pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
That is impressive. You got the spelling and everything. That's excellent.
Yeah. Harrison Grandcross might be easier to find right now, because I think I know where he is. From what I've been told, there's a certain place called Fort Underga, and there have been whispers from the townspeople that it is under the control of someone named Grandcross. It's very far from here, but it might be the best place to go next if you're trying to destroy these things.
Like how far? In days, maybe? Time?
At least 2 weeks.
Oof.
Ooh.
I'm afraid to say Phileas Theoby is much further, though.
Like how much further?
Starting from here, it would be about a month.
Wow.
Gross.
And starting from the other place, another 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's on the way.
I suppose if you want to look at it that way.
Alright. Sorry, Liam, what was the name of the fort again?
Fort Underga.
Underga. Okay. Alright. And where exactly is Phileas Theoby located? If you know where it is in terms of how long it takes to get there.
Again, it's only rumors, but I have heard of some old hermit who lives in a high tower out in the open desert. Nobody really knows what he does there, but based on the certain writings that I've seen of the lady, it might be him. I don't know if there are any other members of the Immaculate Corpse, but I feel like if you were to find them, those would be the best places to start.
It does seem like a good place to start, at least. Can I want to look at Sergio and be like, can I read those notes real quick? I just I'll give them back. I want to skim them, just to see.
Do not give her the notes.
Somehow.
I just said I wouldn't do any evil.
Can I see the notes?
Okay.
Oh,
Peony and Dastin both roll me persuasion checks.
Dastin has a literal evil demon in his subconscious looking at everything that he sees. And Peony is purely chaotic neutral, who may not use it for evil, but might unintentionally accidentally use it for evil.
but may just awaken it and allow it to do evil on its own.
Oh no!
Okay, so persuasion check, right?
Yeah.
I rolled a 13.
I rolled a
rolled a
14.
I rolled a rock.
All right. Sergio looks at both of you and says, "I could read a few passages if you'd prefer."
And I'm gonna squint at him and be like, "Why so secretive, Sergio? What are you hiding?"
And Sergio's just like, "Fine, take it."
Yes.
Can I try to do like an acrobatics check to grab it first before
Sure.
being...
Sure, that's fine.
Can I do a counter acrobatic to dodge?
No.
Alright, let's see. I'm rolling physical dice because D&D Beyond was not a fan of the last dice roll I did. Come here.
Gosh.
That is a 21.
All right. Yeah, you definitely grab it.
God damn it! I just wanted to see if it had any mention of this cool thing I saw earlier in a book. It could be relevant.
Yeah, the necro, whatever it was you were reading about. How about I not let you read this?
Yeah, neck splicing. It's like the coolest thing I have ever heard.
Benedict leans in closer because, you know, his wizard subclass is going to be necromancer. He just goes, necrospicing?
Well, you actually have read about necrosplicing, Benedict.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right, I did.
Yeah.
That's right, I did.
Astrid looks at Benedict and goes, "You've read about that."
Thank you. Thank you, wife. Thank you, wife.
Nice metagaming, Carly.
I don't know if I'd call that metagaming. Astrid and Benedict share everything, but if you
they
call
do.
it
That do be fact.
I'm fucking around. It's fine.
but if that's what you call it, Mr. DM, we can have it that she doesn't say that.
It's fine.
No,
it
no,
doesn't hurt
no,
the
no.
game at all. So it's
Benedict literally has a book on necromancy. So it's just like, yeah, no, that's right. He did. And Benedict goes, oh yeah, I read about that one.
So the notes are pretty vague. They're pretty old and kind of scratched up. You do sort of read her. It's more of a journal of her kind of like recounting her like experiences during the war. And it basically just talks about her just like at first she's really hesitant to even think about involving herself in the war at all. She actually wants to be a consummate objectivist for most of the beginning of it. And as it sort of progresses and you begin to sort of read about how she's learning about all the death and destruction that's sort of happening, and you begin to learn about how like Harrison Grandcross, who was a merchant who basically was funding a lot of her research. He was basically finding ways for her to be able to research into medicine, and eventually it became weaponry as the war progressed and it was getting too much to ignore. Eventually, that's when things sort of start to cut off, but you do read what is on the last page near the bottom, and it basically says it essentially is her saying that I am now forced to make a terrible decision.
So there's some names in these notes, right?
It's pretty much just Harrison Grandcross and Phileas Theoby.
Okay. So no other names. Those are really the only two that are in these notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there might be a mention of one or two other people, but not really by name. So.
Do they have monikers?
Monikers. Like titles?
Yeah.
Well, she mentions the magistrate of Futurum.
Okay.
But by any chance from our time in Futurum and like the time that most of us like spent in the library like researching like history and things like that of Futurum, would that like pop out? Would like a name come to anybody's mind? Like if we did history checks to see, would maybe a name come to mind?
Well, none of you live in Serenor. That's the problem. I mean, Peony kind of does, but all of you are like foreigners who came to Serenor, so most likely not. I'll let you all roll history checks, but it's going to be super high for pretty much all of you. So
Okay.
Right, because basically what I'm wondering is like from when we were all in the library doing our reading and our research, would like what I'm trying to see is like if there has been a name associated with the magistrate that we might be able to then ask like Sergio, since he is from Serenor.
Well, I guess Dastin probably saw that the magistrate was basically by name Magistrate Hildenbrander, who was a high elf basically. So,
by the way, in terms of history checks, I rolled a 27.
Okay, well
Oh, shit.
that works.
Makes sense. Dastin would remember it.
Yeah.
18 plus 6, that's a 24.
All right.
I got an 8.
So Benedict, you have heard of Harrison Grandcross, but you've never met him.
Gotcha.
Because he is a merchant. So
Yeah.
you have a vague knowledge of him, but you've never even seen him. So
Benedict leads into Astrid. I believe we did some trade with him once, or people associated with him. I do recall seeing his name on some of our trade paperwork.
My brain's still kind of foggy. I can't really remember.
That's okay, love. And Benedict kisses her on the temple. That's all right. I get that.
She leans into him.
Oh.
all right. But yeah. So Dastin, you basically remember about reading during the war that the person in charge of Futurm was Magistrate Hildenbrander.
Right.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. I'm glad I wrote that down.
There was he knew the lady pretty well, but he was more the political side and she was the research side. So and that's it.
So no mentions of necrosplicing. Damn.
In the notes?
Yeah.
No.
Damn it. Okay.
None of those notes.
But Sarah hands the notes back to Sergio.
Did you say necrosplicing out loud?
Like a whole bunch of times.
Okay. Well, Sergio's basically looks at you and basically says, necrosplicing. You read about that?
Yeah, in your library.
Well, yes. When I saw the rumblings of the Daemon Machina and some of my research, I decided to look into it, even though I thought it was just a fairy tale. And one of the key components to a Daemon Machina is the concept of necrosplicing, which is where the Guardian of the Abyss comes in.
Interesting. Tell me more. Perhaps over lunch?
And Sergio gets...
asking him out on a date?
Yeah, Sergio gets a little flustered, just like, well, I suppose there's not that much more to say, but...
Anything you've got, honestly. I'm just dying for knowledge.
Dastin just gonna give me a look like, that's my shtick, bitch.
Tell me more, maybe over some dinner. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Does he look like a bitch?
Yeah, but Peony is
No, he
just
looks like Santa.
trying to get Sergio to explain these things away from the rest of the party.
So are you actually asking Sergio out? Is that what is happening right now?
With
Or-
alternative motive, yes.
Okay. That's fine. Most dates have alternative motives. Anyway.
A basic charisma check.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, yeah, you're gonna have to do a persuasion check, but I'll give you advantage because
Yay!
Sergio's not too against this in the first place, so
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he's just got that big, sexy brain, you know. I can't help myself. Ooh, that's a 5. Is
with
the better
advantage.
roll. Yeah. The other one was a 3.
he's got 0 game.
I have no riz.
I love it so much.
It is so clear. I just want him to tell me this information, but I just want everyone else to stop giving me shit.
Sergio's sort of like, I'm sorry, I don't really necessarily like to leave this place unless I have to.
She pouts, but doesn't fight it, I guess. I'll find you later. And she like mopily flies away.
And Astrid whispers, "Don't worry, we'll work on it."
And
Dastin kind of gives her a reassuring little like pat on the back, like, "Yeah, I knew what you were trying to do. It's okay."
We all knew what you were trying.
Everybody Sergio saw.
You're so not subtle.
Unfortunately, there is one other thing, though.
Exactly.
What's that?
I can't have you leave yet.
Why?
Always, you gotta stay in the crazy town. You can't leave. There's a magical dome in the sky.
Is my writing that obvious? No. No. Actually, Sergio looks at Dastin and says, "We still have Diz to deal with."
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And I think we will take a quick break with that. So,
Aw, Peony is in the BG just being like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
well, she kind of knows Diz, but, you know.
But yeah, she doesn't know any of the other shit that happened last session.
Right. All right,
But-
so we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. So.
All right.
Okay, and we are back. So, after the meeting, explaining certain elements of what the Immaculate Corpse is and how the Daemon Machina works, Sergio turns to Dastin and tells him, we still have to deal with Diz.
How do you plan to do that?
I have some certain ideas, but they are going to take some preparation. What I need to ask of you all is that you at least stay for another night.
I think that's fair.
Perhaps it is for the best as well, because I think Miss Peony and Miss Estrid still need to heal up.
Yeah.
Peony needs to regrow that eyebrow.
Yeah, we would leave her for about a year.
It does not take that long for eyebrows to grow back, just from personal experience.
Especially for
No,
especially for
We had
fairies.
some of the eyebrow growth serum from. No,
Oh my god.
Jesus. Oh man.
I kid. Or do I?
That's the question, truly.
So, what kind of things do you plan to do?
I've been giving you all plenty of information the whole night. Maybe it's for the best if we take a break from all that and I let you all rest.
I'm fine with that.
We don't have a drink. Do you have any alcohol?
No, I'm afraid I don't drink. But there are taverns in Cartertown.
She pulls out like 2 bottles of whiskey from her bag of holding. I think we can manage.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
That's my girl.
That's pretty good.
He says that's canon. He says that out loud.
Yeah, he fucking does.
That's canon. Alright. So Sergio looks at all of you and says, well, that's fine. The dining hall is... Oh, excuse me. The dining hall is yours to use if you wish.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go get drunk after the ordeal. Who wants to come with me?
I'm gonna stay in the library.
I'm gonna
I will-
try and find like an empty room where I can tinker.
Bandic will join her, but he's probably not gonna get full on drunk.
The library and drink while I read. That sounds like a fun night.
Honestly, Sarah at this point is like, I could use some fresh air. It's getting darker. I don't need to worry so much about sun spectacles and things like that. So I'm gonna walk around town and just see the town.
All right. Okay, then we'll start with Visira and then we'll go to the rest of the party afterwards. So, Visira, as you travel around the town, it's pretty mundane. It's not a very like noticeable town. It just feels like a regular town. But as Sergio said, there are taverns. There are regular people's houses. There's a couple of farmers and such, and a couple of sellers of goods. What are you planning to do exactly?
I mean, part of it is that she's trying, because one thing that she has like wanted to do since she thought about, since she was thinking about like what she would do if she was ever lifted, if her curse was ever lifted of her, is that she'd want to go back to the places that she's seen and like help out people in those places that would need it. So like, I guess she would probably be looking for things like what might they be able to improve on with their, if they have any kind of food needs or things like other healthcare. Like, she's not a doctor, but like some things she could maybe do are like helping to bring people like clothing, and if she can find medicines from other places that might help people. So a lot of it, she's really just kind of observing how things could be bettered in different places that she visits.
Okay. So, so you go around town, and you basically see that there are a few people who seem to be a bit down on their luck. And there are some traders of like medicine and such, but it's more just like apothecary kind of stuff. So.
Okay.
And there is like someone selling clothing, but it's not really like high end or anything like that. It's more just something to wear.
Right, something to cover up. What's the weather like here? Like, is it more of kind of that desert type climate? Is it a cooler climate? Is it
It's a cooler climate. It's nothing too heavy. You're in a town in the middle of like surrounded by woodsy area.
okay? Gotcha. Just kind of making note of that. And I suppose she would definitely just kind of talk to some people, inquire on like what they like about, like what brought them to this town, if they're, are born there, or if they traveled here or things like that.
Okay. So you're looking for people to talk to, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a perception check.
What time of day is it, Sir DM?
It's getting close to the afternoon.
Okay. So Vasira's definitely she's got her hood up. So let's see what we can do here. Back here.
Bring it up, bitch.
I have disadvantage because it's daytime. But, okay, still not bad. 19. My first was a 14 and the second one was a 17. So I'm like, well, 14 plus 5, not bad.
Okay. So you see a what looks to be a half-orc ranger who's sort of sharpening his tools, sharpening his weapons at the moment. And he doesn't necessarily look unfriendly, but he does look a bit like he's kind of on his own, and he doesn't mind it that way. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So, does he look like he might be somebody who, like, sells weaponry, or is he literally just, like, sharpening his own tools?
Yeah, he's pretty much sharpening his own tools.
Okay. Vasira's still gonna walk up to him, because, I mean, without her hood on and without, anything else going on, she does not look like the most approachable person on her own. But, so she's gonna walk up to him and just be like, "Excuse me, sir."
He looks up and he goes, "Yes, can I help you?"
I'm not from here. Do you live here? Is this where you come from, or did you travel here as well?
I come here time to time, but mostly just... But I am more of a traveler, an adventurer.
Okay. Are you from, literally just said it a few minutes ago. What's the name of this country?
Cernor.
Cernor, okay. Are you from I'm not from here myself. I came with some companions and just I'm feeling a little bit curious about the history, what's happened here.
Yeah, I am from Serenor. What are you curious about exactly?
Well, I've heard, a bit about, a war that happened here, and are many of the cities and towns in Serenor, are they more well off, or are they more...
Oh, gods, no. Not after the war, anyway.
All right. Do you know of any that my companions and I may be able to find some supplies? I myself don't use weaponry very often, but do you know of anybody that maybe my companions might be able to buy weaponry from, or even some armor if they need it?
Well, there is one place around here you could visit if you want something close.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I will take any aid you may be able to offer.
There's Mr. Honeydew. He's a werebear. He sells trades and goods. He's just around the corner, actually.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Oh my god, no, you have to meet him. His name is Mr. Honeydew, and we have to befriend him so Liam can play more NPCs that just follow us throughout the campaign.
Please tell me his first name is Bunsen.
I love him.
Bunsen? Why?
He wears a red shirt, and that's it.
And his
He's
assistant
just wearing a red shirt.
I need it.
Oh my god. Okay, so the Sarah, she gives him a bit of a nod, and then before she walks away though, she goes, by any chance, for those of us who don't use weaponry but need maybe other items for any magical assistance that we may add to our party, do you know, are there other merchants around here in town that we may be able to procure items from?
There's people who come into town. In fact, they may be coming in the next day or so. They don't stick around, but if you are looking for more magical items, they should be here by tomorrow.
I appreciate your help. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I didn't actually ask you your name.
It's Tark.
Tark. Well, my name is Visira. It was very nice to meet you, and I appreciate your assistance.
Not a problem.
And Visera, actually, she just goes ahead and turns around and starts heading back, because she's like, well, if we're going to be making a 2-week journey, then we should probably at least stock up on some supplies that we might need later down the road.
All right. We are going to move over to the library. I'm afraid that Mr. Honeydew will have to be saved until next time, I think, but
damn it.
But yeah, we are going to go back to the library where you guys are all just drinking right now.
A bottle, and I'm going to look and see if I can find any books that have different spells in them that I haven't learned yet, or anything that could maybe lead me to anything that might be of interest in our quest. I kind of have a split idea here.
Okay, make a perception check.
That is a 14.
Okay. So you're... remind me again of what you're looking for exactly?
So, okay, it's either one of two things. It's either a book that, like, has different spells in it, because I'm not sure what he's about, if he's just, like, into science or if he's into magic, too. Or if it has anything kind of having to do with what we're looking for, like different ways to possibly like shut off the demon ex machina or whatever, or anything that could be kind of like of use to us.
Okay.
Sorry, that's broad. I apologize.
It's all right. You don't really get a lot of magic books because he is more of a alchemic, scientific kind of principle kind of guy.
Except he had a book about necromancy, which made me think, maybe.
Necrosplicing, to be fair.
I apologize.
But you, with a 14, you basically do find a couple books that they do seem to have some familiarity with the lady's research and what was going on there, but it's mostly just theory stuff. It's not really anything concrete.
Okay. I'll take a theory. And I bring them back to where Benedict, I'm assuming, is sitting. Unless, Josh, you're off gallivanting in another section of the library. Just doing your own.
No, he probably would be looking at trying to see if this dude had any necromantic like books so he can add more notes to his necromancy book that he has.
Cool. So she's gonna walk over to the table and just plop them down, open up the bottle, kind of do the little flick thing so that the top just flies off, and just starts to read as she's drinking.
All right.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay. You ostensibly read that there are some theories of how to undo the means of necrosplicing, but it can be very complex, and it does require like more of a sense of understanding more like light-based magic, more, divine magic.
Interesting. Okay.
But the thing about necrosplicing is it's very uncommon, so nobody really knows necessarily the best way to deal with it.
Oh.
And most of your research tonight leads to avoid doing at all costs.
Okay. Benny?
Yes?
We can't let Peony get her hands on any of this.
It's too late.
I already have.
I already
That's
copied
it.
all of the notes up here in my noggin.
She would have a photographic memory.
Yeah, check.
Okay, what else are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, that was basically all I wanted.
Yeah. Good.
Dastin's just kind of going back into his corner, just not wanting to be in anyone's way because he's still very nervous. And now he's doubly nervous because he honestly doesn't know what Sergio's going to do.
Okay.
So he's just kind of sitting there trying to read, but he's like, he just can't focus now because he's just so anxious.
All right. So Peony, what are you up to?
Tinkering.
Okay.
I want to take the time to actually like make some of my tinkering shit.
Okay. That would probably be like a dexterity check, or
No, I just spent time doing it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, like I can make I want to make a new Eldritch Cannon.
All right.
So that the next time we get in a fight, I can have an Eldritch Cannon. But yeah, basically I have to spend time. It's like one action, and then I can only make one per long rest.
Okay.
Yeah. But also I have other things here. I just need to like remember what I have. Like, I can infuse magic into items and shit. Can we, like, come back to me?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we'll go back to Estrid and Benedict for a minute. And Estrid, you are still looking through the books, and you do come across something kind of interesting, though.
Ooh. All right.
We're looking into necrosplicing and how exactly it works. But you come across basically a section that is about fusing, human subjects with the sort of dark necrosplicing, like engineering.
She literally like looks at it and kind of gives like a gasp and goes, Benedict,
Yes, my love.
I think I found something that's like right out of a horror movie.
Benedict pulls out his necromancy book and goes over and pulls out a writing utensil and goes, "Oh?"
It's kind of gross. And she hands it to him and is like, this talks about splicing like people. I'm sorry, Liam. Can you describe it again? Because I know I can't.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's like splicing people with the necrosplicing engineering. Essentially doing engineering on necrosplicing.
That's a little fucked up, yeah?
Yes, it is. And he notates it down in his necromancy book.
And the last part of that is essentially, and the most significant part is that it basically says, as the body parts, if one is to destroy, like, if a large amount of like people are connected to one particular body that is given that they've been necrospliced to,
Oh, no.
as each one of them is destroyed, the central heart of the creature grows stronger.
Ah, I've seen this movie. It's called The Human Centipede, and I'm done. I'm out.
Well, with that, we are going to call it. So,
Shit. Just to clarify, I want to, for my infusion, I basically want to infuse my leather armor to be the mind sharpener. So an infused item sends a jolt to the wearer to refocus their mind, has 4 charges, and it's basically if I fail con saving throws.
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, it's so that I can remain concentrated on spells.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, but with that, we are going to call it. Thank you to all my wonderful players. Thank you to everybody watching. Tomorrow will be Great Poison, right? Or Metroid, I guess.
Metroid tomorrow.
Metroid.
And then next week will be 5 schools next Thursday?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, again, thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Oh, hello?
Yeah?
You kind of cut out there after. Good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah, well, I just said good night, everybody. Have a good night. So.
Bye.
Yes.
Have a
Good night.
wonderful night.